Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. There's a strange thing about money in retirement. The people you think are wealthy often aren't, and then the ones you overlook might have more than you ever imagined. So who really retires wealthy? The answer says less about the size of their portfolio and more about something you might not expect. We're going to unpack the data, the myths, and the surprising realities, and by the end, you just might rethink what being wealthy in retirement really means. The book, The Millionaire Next Door, completely upended the idea that a high salary automatically leads to a wealthy retirement. The research actually showed that many high-income professionals actually fall into the category of under-accumulators of wealth, meaning on paper they have a really high, impressive income, but at the same time they spend lavishly on travel and cars and housing and status symbols that really keep them from building lasting wealth. So yes, they have a high income, but they match that with high expenses, and this prevents them from building lasting wealth. On the flip side, we have the prodigious accumulators of wealth, and they're often not who you might expect. It could be your unassuming neighbor who lives in a modest home, driving a fully paid off car, and focused on building their investments year after year. They value financial independence over these outward displays of wealth, and they use their time and their money efficiently and kind of avoid these million-dollar decisions that really drain their wealth over the decades. So the takeaway is that wealth isn't just about how much you make. It's about the gap between how much you earn and how much you keep. And this gap is built through consistent and intentional spending decisions, not just big paydays. So the real key to wealth isn't just earning more. The question becomes, how do you actually keep more of what you make? One of the most powerful answers comes down to time and how to make your money work harder for you. Starting early is one of the most powerful wealth-building moves you can make, and the math proves it. If you invested just $100 a month and earned an average of an 8% annual rate of return, if you start at the age of 18 and invest until the age of 65, you'd have about $621,000. But what if you started at 20 instead? You'd have around $527,000. That 2-year delay, where you were investing $100 a month. So in total, over the course of this 2 years, you would have invested $2,400. That 2-year delay, by the time you reach the age of 65, ended up costing you $94,000 in growth. That's a really expensive penalty for such a short delay. Now let's take this a step further. Let's say you're a parent or a grandparent and you want to set up your child or your grandchild for the rest of their life. Let's say starting at birth, you invest $100 a month, and then at whatever age you deem appropriate, maybe it's 16, maybe it's 18, this child takes over investing that $100 a month. So they continue this until the age of 65. What might that grow to? Investing just $1,200 every single year, it could grow to $2.66 million. That is wildly impressive. That is the magic of compounding over a lifetime. Really modest contributions spread out over a really long runway can turn into multi-millions without ever having huge contributions to investments. This is why Yuri Levine, the co-founder of Waze, tells young people to start investing by the age of 18, and why thousands of retirees in survey after survey saying early investing is one of the smartest moves they've ever made. Even more important than starting early is staying consistent. Dollar cost averaging, where you invest a fixed amount on a regular schedule, tends to smoothen out market volatility. Your money goes further when the markets are down, you're buying more shares, and when the market is at peak prices, you're buying fewer shares. So you're buying more when the markets are on sale and buying less when they're at peak prices. And this type of regular investing schedule tends to outperform lump sum investing, where investors are trying to time the market. So we've touched on the late start penalty by looking at investing from birth or investing from the age of 18 or 20. But let's talk about the more common ages where people start to get invested, because maybe you didn't have a parent who started investing for you at birth, or maybe you didn't have someone who nudged you into investing right when you graduated high school. Even waiting a few years in young adulthood can dramatically increase the cost of reaching your goals. For example, let's say your goal is to hit $1 million in investments by retirement, using an 8% rate of return. If you start at the age of 25, you'd need to save about $3,000 a year. But if you wait until the age of 30, that jumps to about $4,500 a year, nearly 50% more for the exact same goal. Wealth isn't built by cutting every corner or denying yourself joy. It's making deliberate choices that free up money for the things that matter in your life, including investing. And that includes the choice of skipping a morning coffee or asking the question, is this adding value to my life? Warren Buffett put it simply, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Strategic frugality means you decide in advance what portion of your income is going towards building wealth. And then you protect that choice, no matter what. It's also a guard against lifestyle creep, where your lifestyle expands to meet your income. Because when your lifestyle expands unchecked, your financial future shrinks. It isn't about living smaller. It's about keeping this gap between what you earn and what you keep as wide as necessary to reach your financial goals. But even if you master strategic frugality, there's still the question, how much is enough? For that, we can look at what people today say it actually takes to feel wealthy, as well as what today's current retirees have. So what do people say it takes to feel wealthy? According to Schwab's 2025 Modern Wealth Survey, the average American says they need a net worth of about $839,000 to feel financially comfortable, and about $2.3 million to feel wealthy. For baby boomers, that bar is even higher, roughly $943,000 just for comfort and $2.8 million to feel wealthy. But here's the reality check. According to the Federal Reserve's latest survey of consumer finances, the actual savings and investments that retirees have lag pretty far behind these benchmarks. For those ages 55 to 64, median investments is about $185,000. For those ages 65 to 74, it's about $200,000. If we turn to Vanguard, the average 401k or IRA balance for those in their 60s tends to hover around $250,000. And if we zoom out and look at that total net worth figure, $2.3 million from the Schwab survey, that puts you in really rare company. If we're looking at retirement age households, this would put you in the 85th to the 90th percentile, depending on your retirement age bracket and if you want to include or exclude your home from your net worth. That means 8 to 9 out of 10 households do not have this level of wealth. So if we're asking ourselves who really retires with this level of wealth, it's only a small subset of the population, and it's obviously those who have been really disciplined at saving and investing over decades. And yet, despite these lower account balances, there's something we should focus on because it's very important. Most retirees say they're doing just fine. Gallup found that 75% of retirees say they have enough to live comfortably. The Federal Reserve reports that 82% say they're doing okay or living comfortably. The EBRI says that 78% are confident they have enough to live the rest of their lives. And here's the kicker. A Northwestern Mutual study found that even among millionaires, only 32% actually consider themselves wealthy. So comfort, that's pretty common, but that feeling of wealth, that's far more rare. The numbers and the data show us how unique it is to reach a net worth of $2.3 million. But it does raise another question. What's the right definition of wealth? And to help answer that, let's look at one of the richest men in history. Wealth is contextual, not absolute. Morgan Housel, who most people know as the author of The Psychology of Money, a great book, makes a very powerful point about wealth in his latest book, Same as Ever. Wealth is social. It's not about what you have, it's how that stacks up to the world around you. And it's not exactly what you think. It's not always about keeping up with the Joneses. Take John D. Rockefeller. By the time he died in 1937, his net worth was an estimated $1.4 billion, roughly 1.5% of the entire U.S. economy at that time. Adjust that for inflation, and that'd be roughly $30 billion today. Alternatively, if you want to measure this the way economists often do, as a percentage of US GDP, it'd be the equivalent of him having a net worth of about $435 billion. That's more than the net worth of Elon Musk. And yet, here's the kicker. Rockefeller never had access to penicillin. No internet, no microwave, no air conditioning, no year-round seasonless produce, no instant global communication or streaming services. If we didn't have these things, it's very unlikely we would feel wealthy today. He never even flew on an airplane. Meanwhile, today, we get annoyed at 30,000 feet if we can't connect to in-flight Wi-Fi. In his era, Rockefeller was the undisputed financial apex. That is how wealth showed up for his time. It's a powerful reminder that wealth is a moving target and not an absolute number, and it's also a mirror that reflects your standing in the society you live in. The truth is, feeling wealthy isn't just about assets, it's about alignment. Do you have the financial means to live the life you want? Can you cover your needs, plan for emergencies, and enjoy the moments that matter? And maybe most importantly, it's giving yourself permission to say, I have enough. Because if you're constantly chasing this ever-moving target called wealth, it can prevent you from enjoying the life you've already built. At the end of the day, the ones who truly feel wealthy are the ones who meet their own goals and get to live life on their own terms. And importantly, they're not using someone else's yardstick. So what are your thoughts on wealth? Do you feel wealthy? Leave your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. The research showed that many high-income... Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take my watch off. This is crazy. Okay, let's settle down, everyone. When the market is down, your money goes further and you end up buying more shares. When the market is up, you buy fewer shares. But this And maybe most importantly, it's giving yourself important. Ha! I thought I left the curtain up. I took it down. Okay. Whew. That was gonna say I have to refilm this whole video. I don't want to do that. From the time they were born, and then add an age appropriate